By the summer of 1990, there was a big shift in the world of wrestling since the Ultimate Warrior's upset over Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania VI. Warrior had surrendered the Intercontinental title, allowing Mr. Perfect to win the tournament to become the Intercontinental Champion. In the meantime, the Warrior had been challenged by Rick Rude, the man who conquered his winning streak at WrestleMania. You see what I did there? Uh-huh. 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 Yeah, see what I did there. But this time, he was challenging. He was challenged by Rick Rude for a match at the WWE title. Okay. Hulk Hogan had been destroyed by Earthquake not long after his loss at WrestleMania VI, but by the prayers and letters from his Hulkamaniacs, he had gotten the strength to come back, and he would make a play for revenge on Earthquake and Robbie the Brain Heenan. But let's start with the match of the first match of the night, SummerSlam 1990. First match of the night was the Power and Glory, aka Paul Roma and Hercules Hernandez, taking on the newly good team, the newly popular, let's just go with popular. They're not newly, they're just popular. The popular team of the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty. This turned into a handicap match as the repackaged jobbers hit Shawn Michaels in his already injured leg on the ambush with the chain. Marty Jannetty makes a valiant effort before succumbing to the innovative powerplex and pin. Michaels leaves on the stretcher, selling leg injury like a wild man. Power and Glory get the win here. Next up, we got Texas Tornado versus Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental title. And Mr. Perfect takes a few bumps before losing to the Iron Claw and the Tornado Punch for an upset pinfall. It was a nice moment, but it was sad to see Mr. Perfect lose without putting in the work rate from a man of his potential. So, it was a good match. It was what it was. Next up, we get probably the worst match of the night because there wasn't even a match. It was supposed to happen, but it didn't. Sapphire taking on Sensational Sherry. Sapphire loses the match by forfeit because she doesn't want to make it to the ring. And the WWF does a reasonable job at making it look legitimate, but the fans weren't buying it, and neither was I. Next up, we get Tito Santana versus the Warlord. Tito Santana jobbed to one of the powers of pain at WrestleMania. He might as well do the other at SummerSlam, and he didn't do a bad job of it. So Tito tries to do the monkey flip, but Warlord holds on to the turnbuckle, finishing Tito off with his power slam and the pinfall. Next up, we get the tag team title match, 2 out of 3 falls, with Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim Deanna Neidhart, the Hart Foundation, taking on Axe and Smash of Demolition. Demolition incorporated a new member called Crush to share the workload because Axe wasn't well and started a confusion angle. The only people confused were the officials, as far as I was concerned, where the Harts didn't know which two of the 3 men they were getting. It's interesting that Crush referred to the Legion of Doom as the second-rate imposters, as the Legion of Doom were the inspiration behind Demolition. Yeah, they were. Although that would have been a sick match if they would have fought each other, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. Another missed opportunity by the WWE. But that's a different video for a different time. Crush and Smash start the match off by getting the first pin on Bret, making it 1-0 for Demolition. The Foundation would soon come back after a terrible decision by Crush to take out the referee rather than Bret Hart, who was pinning Smash. Deliberate or a rookie mistake? I don't know. But shortly after the decision, shortly after the disqualification decision on Demolition, making it 1-1, making the match 1-1. Axe comes to the ring, hides under the apron, from there Smash switches sides so a fresh Axe comes into play. Legion of Doom comes to the ring shortly thereafter to serve justice to Demolition. Crush gets a schoolboy pin after taking a ringside slingshot from Jim Neidhart, making it 2-1. And Hart Foundation becomes the new tag team champions. It was a good match. I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty good match. Pretty solid effort between the two. Between the two tag teams, I should say. Now we get Jake the Snake Roberts versus Bad News Brown, and Big Boss Man is a special guest referee. And this match was bad. Absolutely horrendous match. As Bad News Brown gets disqualified for hitting Jake a second time in the stomach with a chair. And this would turn out to be Bad News Brown's last pay-per-view match in the WWF. Now we get Hacksaw Jim Duggan and Nikolai Volkoff versus the Oriental Express. It's very weird to see Nikolai Volkoff as a face, but even more weird is him singing America the Beautiful badly with Duggan before the match even starts. Yeah, the match itself was not that good. The Oriental Express gets murdered by, not literally, but figuratively murdered by Duggan and Volkoff, which ends in Duggan's 3-point stance clothesline and rare clean pin. And yeah, there we go. Good match. It was okay. I mean, meh. Next up, we get Dusty Rhodes versus Macho King Randy Savage. The only point to this match was to show where Sapphire ended up. It brought out Ted DiBiase. The empty smile on Sapphire's face seemed very effective. This got poor Dusty Rhodes distracted, ambushed, and pinned after Sherry's loaded purse within a very let's try that again. This got poor Dusty distracted, ambushed, and pinned after use of Sherry's loaded purse within a very short space of time. Dusty screamed for Sapphire after the match as she went off in Ted DiBiase's limo. Was quite a sight to see. If Dusty had gotten his way, Sapphire would have been a prostitute, but the WWF thought it was unsuitable if the WWF did go with Dusty's idea, because this was his idea. Not gonna lie, this was his idea. It would have made this plot angle so much more darker and very dark for that period of time, to say the very least. Now we get Hulk Hogan's return match, Hulk Hogan versus Earthquake. I know there was build up to this match, but it's certain it didn't deserve to be main event status, where the WWF worried that if Hogan didn't main event their pay-per-view, he would be forgotten about, or was it Hogan's ego taking control at this point? The Hulkamania thing became stale from here, as we were another Clash of the Titans type matchup, and Hogan can't slam the big guy, but he does it the second time, he does it again, yada yada. The difference between this match and the other Hogan matches is that Earthquake loses by countout after getting slammed through a table, which was an awful booking decision. Like Hogan did with Savage, he kept Warrior close, so he didn't guarantee he would be guaranteed another title shot, hopefully. Which brings us to the main event: Ultimate Warrior versus Ravishing Rick Rude for the world title in a steel cage. And you can tell Rude was on his way out of here, because he referred to the crowd as Pennsylvania pissants, which caused a genuine stir in the crowd. This match had shades of their previous encounter at last year's SummerSlam at WrestleMania, and it was quite brutal, as both of them were throwing each other onto the cage from the start. I wasn't convinced that Rude was going to win the title after he went to the top of the cage following the Rude Awakening neckbreaker. He should have just... He didn't look like he wanted to win either. Even missing an opportunity going through the door while Warrior was tangling with Robbie the Brain Heenan. And unfortunately, this was also Rick Rude's last pay-per-view match in the WWF. Overall, I think this was a most disheartening resolution of SummerSlam. It was a lot of wrestlers' last shows, like Demolition as a tag team, Dusty Rhodes, Bad News Brown, and Rick Rude. Also, I thought Rowdy Piper on commentary was okay. Wasn't really the best. This SummerSlam was not really that good. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. Best match of the night was probably the Hart Foundation and Demolition. And the worst match of the night was probably the Sapphire versus Sensational Sherry, if that counts. If that does not, I will go with the Jake Snake Roberts versus Bad News Brown. That's my review of SummerSlam 1990. Coming up next, 1991.